Hello everybody and welcome once again to the KBRN Network, and tonight we have the OSCA Truck Series round number 10 for the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation 120 here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. This week we are at Sin City, week number 10, the final week of the regular season, and I'm your host Michael Goodman. Joining me alongside is going to be Kenneth Bueno, and Kenneth, I can't think of a better spot to end the regular season than Sin City. People are going to maybe make some gambles to get a last-ditch effort to get into the playoffs.
There definitely is, Mike, and you could probably make a lot of puns as to the amount of drivers making those gambles, taking those risks, and especially drivers now trying to comfortably sit into the playoffs when we start next week. There's only a handful of playoff races, so you have to try and get in now. We talked about it all season long, at least through the second half of the regular season, that if you wanted to get into the playoffs comfortably, you had to have started a momentous run from a couple of weeks back. But tonight, it's going to be one last shot, one final time in one place that certainly could bring a lot of excitement with these trucks.
It will be very exciting indeed, and we'll take a closer look at where we're at here tonight at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We're located about 15 miles virtually of the Vegas Strip in Las Vegas, Nevada. The track opened up in 1996, and the it's a 1.5 mile racetrack, and the banking is 12 degrees in the straightaways, 20 degrees in the turns, and very high speed, kind of a cookie cutter shaped track, similar to tracks like Chicagoland and Kentucky, but and we've seen some good races earlier on in the season. One that was another cookie cutter track, Kansas, that provided some good racing, Kenneth. And tonight we do have the two halves once again, both 40 laps, but interesting, both as you see right now as they're qualifying under the lights, that I think the first half time starts at 8:30 p.m. sim time, and the second half 7:15. So again, both afternoon races, but one starting about an hour and 15 minutes earlier. So I don't know how much the track's going to change between both halves tonight.
Well, it's going to be way different, Mike, from what we saw. I think the calamity that happened at Kansas a couple weeks back, because we had both a night race to start it off and then a day race to end things out. But tonight we're having both night races just with an hour difference. We're having 8:30 p.m. to start this first race of 40 laps, and then the second half will involve a sim time around 7:15. So we'll be closer to about sunset than really just full darkness in the sky. But it will be still both night races here at Vegas. And we've had a couple of notes to take about how we have taken 1.5 milers this season. So there is something to work off of, but nonetheless, we still look at that unpredictability. We still look at the chaos that can come out of it and the ridiculous pack racing that we've seen so far.
Yeah, it's going to be ridiculous here tonight at Vegas when we can check out the upcoming schedule. There's only 3 races left of the season. Again, tonight will be, well, 4, including tonight's race, as it's the final regular season race at Las Vegas. And the next 2 playoff rounds will be in Phoenix and Texas. And again, the final race of the season will be at Kentucky. So I would say if you're pretty good here tonight, and Kentucky is quite a bit different, but again, I think if you're good tonight, it gives you maybe a good head start going into the final race of the season. But we'll check out the point standings here as well, Kenneth. And as we were talking about as we closed the program out last week at Bristol, Vincent Isabella did take over the points lead from Gerald Campbell. As you see who's in, who's out right now, it's going to be a tight race here tonight to see who's in, and as you kind of see who are the guys that kind of have to gamble. Vincent Isabella, Gerald Campbell, those guys are going to be safe, and everyone else is going to be kind of hoping that their nights go pretty well.
And at least with the buffer you see right there between Dave Carpenter and Johnny Eckert, it is going to be probably not too close, but we've seen the amount of points you can rack up in both races, and with Johnny Eckert's case, he's currently top of the charts in qualifying, so that will also help things out a bit. Remember, there's 2 races, so you're not only getting 1 points for one event, you're getting 2 different sets of points based on each of the halves that you have here as well. And also a word from at least our owner, the owner of the series, Vic Bloom. He says that Shane Demantova, because he's not showing up tonight to run Road to Pro, he will be eliminated from competition in the playoffs. So at least that will hurt his chances, but it will push another driver, Steven Schumann, in the picture. It'll make things a lot more interesting. And now the field is gridded right behind the IRC official base truck, so we're ready to get started.
Yeah, we'll take a look at the official starting grid here, and on the pole is that 90 truck. He's been fast all year. Johnny Eckert will be on the pole, and alongside him is Blaze the Fire McKinney.
Riley Maribel in the 09 returns, and he will start from 3rd tonight on the inside of row number 2, followed by David Carpenter in the 71 to his outside in the 4th spot.
And Kitty's going to be running along with the 00 Blake Barney, who's starting in 5th, and alongside him is Tate Lytle in the 56 truck.
And behind them, you'll find Gerald Campbell in the number 6 machine, a driver who was the points leader coming out of last week, but is now not the points leader anymore. He'll be behind in that, trying to look for the points lead back once more. And Matthew Weeks in the 11 will start on the outside of row number 4.
And in row number 5, the 37 truck of Glenn Bundren Jr. He's looking for that win. You know he's hungry. And alongside him in the 47 truck is going to be Richard Mandanza.
Dustin Dewar in the 44 will start from the 11th spot, and Vincent Isabella, current points leader, actually mired back in the 12th spot on the outside of row number 6. And it'll be interesting how he starts this one off.
And starting in row number 7 in the 13th spot is the short track kid, Austin Beers, and alongside him, our Michigan Heat winner, it's the 91 of Dennis Weeks.
Behind them, you'll find Dylan Gooden in the 75 returning from the top 15 tonight on the grid, and Gabriel Edwards for Merrill Motorsports in the 52 will start from 16th.
In row number 9, the 24 truck of Steven Schumann trying to make that last push to get in the playoffs, and alongside him, the 55 truck of Brandon, Give Me a Dollar.
Josh Duke in the 32 will start from 19th, and Storm Patterson, I believe, making his first start in the OSCA Truck Series tonight from Las Vegas. He will cap off your top 20 on the grid.
And in row number 11, Nicholas Monticelli in the 93 truck, starting in 21st, and alongside him, the 03 truck of Charlie Kuzma.
Behind them, Adam Tepe in the 96, and the 64 of Kyle Walgren will complete your top 24.
And we'll be getting ready to go green here in the Cystic Fibrosis 120 here at Las Vegas. Heat number 1. Again, 40 laps in both heats. And again, the caution clock, the 10-minute caution clock is in effect, and see if that comes into play here tonight, as I'm sure we'll see a lot of wild action early on as we get ready to go. As you see that pink truck of Johnny Eckert leading the field to the green as the pace car is about to dive off, and we're ready to go as Johnny Eckert's going to hit the loud pedal, and we're going green here in the Cystic Fibrosis 120 here at Las Vegas. And going all the way down to the aprons, Johnny Eckert, as they're heading down into turn 1, trying to get back up the track, but Blaze McKinney's holding tight alongside him, trying to get that top spot, but it looks like Johnny Eckert's going to clear him. But right now, The 00, Blake Barney, is trying to make a push coming out of 2. He's right on the back bumper of Johnny Eckert. He's going to try to make it 3 wide going into 2, or at least outside of Johnny Eckert. Looks like he's going to get a run, see if he can complete the pass coming out of 4.
He's going to try to use the pinch, but they're both going to get loose. But even behind them, more calamity. The 71 of Carpenter is just about gone around, and I believe that might bring out the yellow flag, but indeed it does not. And now he's around there in the grass. But we stay green on lap 2. Not sure why the yellow was not called, but that completely demolished what was a very large pack to the green flag. Is now within about, let's say, 8 trucks all the way back to, I'd say, Richard Mendonça. 7 trucks, actually, in the 46 machine. So, big crash with David Carpenter, but we stay green now to turn 4 for lap 2.
An interesting note, Vincent Isabella might have been caught up into that, and he's fallen all the way back into the 23rd. He might not even be on track right now. So, or no, there he is. He's got a little bit of damage to the right front of his truck. And interesting way to start out the field here, or start out the race. So we'll see what happens here on the KBRN replay as the field sorting itself out. As you see here, just gets a little loose on that top side. Oh, gets into the 56 truck and the 44 of Dustin Dewar. As you see a lot of cars trying to head down pit road. Chris Jordan also gets involved, and man, he's had some tough luck here as well. So a rough start for a bunch of guys here, and yellow does not come out, but up front, battling for that lead. Blake Barney's got that inside line now. Look at that pack along the top 5 that you could throw a blanket over them, and you even got Matthew Weeks and Richard Mendonça in battling right behind them as well. But right now, Johnny Eckert is able to hold him off as you see Vincent Isabella diving down pit road. Obviously has to serve some sort of, maybe fix some damage there after that incident that he got involved in. So a tough start for Vincent Isabella to start off this heat. But again, back up front so far, it looks like it kind of reminded me a little bit of Talladega here right now, as we've seen some of that here on some of these bigger tracks in this truck series. And it looks like clean air prevails, at least for the leader, but man, this is providing some close side-by-side action up front.
I think, Mike, this really reminds you of what we saw at Kansas, the big packs of trucks all together going very fast around this track, and it does feel like a super speedway in which you have to make the fast decisions. You're right within the draft, and that really matters the most. See Barney a little bit washing up the track at a turn 2, and that'll allow Blaze McKinney to look to the outside. How about this? Almost 3 wide as Matthew Weeks tries to make the move under Glenn Bundren for what is the 5th spot to get in. I think I did see Blaze McKinney kind of fall out the top side just a little bit and use that draft to get to his advantage. You could see the separation from about the first 7 trucks to Dylan Gooden in the 75, riding in the 8th spot, where he's been taken out completely out of the draft because of that big wreck that really separated this field.
Yeah, and it separated the big chunk of it, but at least the top 6 are going to be right there battling for the at least the top 5 duking it out. But as of right now, Johnny Eckert able to lead every lap so far, as we are about to get to lap number 8 of 40. And just to note that I guess didn't get to quite look at where the clock was where we started, so so the caution clock might come into effect, and that might be a big break for some of those guys that might have got involved in David Carpenter's incident to start the race with no caution. But I think the big thing is, with how fast these guys are drafting up front, and even though they're running side by side, staying on the lead lap could be a huge key for some of these guys that might have been damaged from that little incident to start this race off. Oh. Yeah, he's showing a lot of speed, showing that muscle, able to get clear and able to kind of pull away just a little bit, probably about as much as you can with this rules package here. But I am really surprised, too, that it's number 87 truck on the score sheet, but the 51, as you see him ahead of Matthew Weeks here running in 3rd. He has a little bit of damage on the front end of his truck and able to hang right with that pack there. We've seen that a couple times this year with guys like Austin Beers at Michigan do the same thing. and it's not much damage right above that Toyota logo on the grill, but able to hold strong, showing that speed up front, running in second spot right now. And, even Matthew Weeks here running in third spot. We've seen him almost have that heat win at Michigan a couple weeks ago. Then the untimely caution kind of hindered that, and it got involved in a wreck. But we know he has speed, especially on these high-speed racetracks, and right now showing it in third spot. Kind of go through some of the cars in the field here. Dylan Gooden, and he's along with Dennis Weeks, who ended up winning that heat race that we're mentioning with Matthew Weeks. He came out the winner here a couple weeks ago. He's running in 9th. And Gabriel Edwards currently comfortably in the 10th position by about 3 seconds. So, besides that front pack right now, since that incident, as you said, the field kind of spreading out, which, for a lot of these guys, it might be just one of those things, just ride it out until that caution clock, hits, and able to get some of that damage fixed and maybe battle back up there and get in contention, as we do have a yellow now on the track. He's 10. Yeah, he was 10 laps down. I don't know if he might have parked it after he got in that incident early on. So I'm not quite sure what brought out the yellow. It still seems like it might be a little early for the caution clock because they're going about... I think they would have made it almost to about halfway of the race before a yellow came out. Which... Yeah, interesting. Oh, wow. Yeah, he was up in... Oh, we got some damage to the rear end of his truck. Oh, just a little contact between... Oh, and Weeks goes around as well. And a little bit of damage to the back of McKinney. And it doesn't look like Weeks got too much damage, but it looks like they just got hooked. I don't know... Kenneth, if that was something of a kind of a net code, internet connection issues between the two, but it almost looked like, let's try to see, it looked like almost like McKinney didn't know he was there. It looked like there were some disappearing moves. And yeah, it was just kind of, maybe thought he was clear and just didn't quite have enough room there to get in front of Matthew Weeks, and around he goes, and both of them go around. And unfortunate something, someone hit him. Someone hit the back of McKinney's car, but it was kind of hard to see. Look, the car kind of disappeared there. So interesting turn of events as we see some cars choose to stay out on the racetrack while a lot of the leaders pit. You see Johnny Eckert rolling off a pit road. Blake Barney leads the way. Looks like Kitty made maybe some sort of pit strategy, or maybe he pumped up his... Uh-oh. As now he got passed by Eckert, so maybe Kitty didn't make the right call. Uh-oh. Oh. Ooh. Yeah, and going back up front to the second place guy, Bundren, we interviewed him last week after that strong run. I believe he finished second in the second heat, and you could just tell the dejection in his voice. He wants to win bad in this series, and now he's going to be in prime position in second spot, kind of mired back around fourth or fifth, just maybe in a little bit of dirty air. So this might be a good chance as we're nearing halfway of this stage to maybe get that first win. I'm sure he's going to be after it, but again, you have that pink truck, the 90 of Johnny Eckert. He's fast about everywhere we go. If luck, if he can finish these races, he's usually right out front if he has good luck. And right now, he's currently on point. But watch out for the 37. And again, another guy, behind him, Gerald Campbell, who is our points leader for the majority of the season. He's about fast every time he shows up, and luck prevails for him. So these for sure, these guys in the top three are going to be duking it out here, and I'm sure Gooden and Weeks also are going to have a say-so in this as well before we're finished. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who's going to do what, who's going to use that momentum, who's going to use that draft to hold on to that lead, keep the lead. Again, you got a lot of hungry boys in that top 5, even in that top 10, as we're going to get ready to go green here on lap 17. And another thing that could come into play, we're going to be borderline if another 10-minute caution clock would come out at the pretty close to the end of the stage. It's going to be borderline, but we'll see how that happens. It's going to be depending on how clean these boys run too, as Johnny Eckert's going to lead him to the green as we're coming to lap number 18, and this time Johnny Eckert gets a great restart over Bundren, and he's going to have a clear sailing up ahead of him as they dive down into turn number 1, as he's got about a 0.3 of a second lead, or about 0.2 of a second lead rather, as they head on down into 1. Gerald Campbell's going to take over that second spot over Bundren. Not the best restart for that 37 truck, but he's going to look on the outside trying to get around Campbell, and this battle isn't over yet for that second spot, as he's going to be hungry. And ooh, a little bit of a wiggle out of that 6 truck coming out of 4. He doesn't look like he loses a whole lot of momentum for him. And you see the progress. Well, Bundren started all the way back in the 9th spot, worked his way up into 3rd. So a good charge here, but he's got a couple more spots if he wants to get that first win, Kenneth. And, a car in the wall. I think that was the 23 of Harrison Talion. But everything seems to be good there. Maybe not, because the caution's out now. Here on lap number 19. That might have been the start of what happened to bring out this yellow, and yes, it was. That 23 truck of Harrison Talion, as it looked like he got in the wall coming out of turn 2, and it looked like it wasn't that hard of a hit, but it must have been just enough to get that car upset. And yep, stuck to it a little bit too much, and hard in. Man, that very reminiscent of, I believe that was Jeff Gordon back in around 2008, 9, hitting that little part of the wall there. I kind of remember that wreck where I believe Gordon lost his engine block, and obviously virtually it doesn't hurt as bad, but man, it looks like a violent hit.
You'll see it on the onboard camera. This is just a situation of the car getting a little bit tight, just scratching up to the wall, trying to get it off at full speed, but then gets the wrong part of the wall. He was going to hit it regardless, but that's probably the worst place you could hit it. It's such a violent lick to the 23 truck, who was riding around the mid-pack, and that was right in front of Josh Duke as well. And luckily, no one else is involved. You see Matthew Weeks and Adam Tepe able to slip by without any sort of effort there, but a very big hit to the driver of the 23, and now he's lodged behind the wall.
Yeah, he's going to be, that one's going to end your night there. That was a pretty good lick, but lucky for him, we're about halfway to get to heat number 2 for him, and he'll be able to kind of get redemption there. But as we've seen here, Kenneth, I'm kind of wondering maybe this kind of plays into a guy like, we're talking a lot about Bundren, and him wanting to get that first win. Didn't get the best restart, but now he's going to be right behind Johnny Eckert as he's seen what Campbell was able to get around him from that spot. So maybe this is going to be a key position for Bundren to start out in. Kind of coming to the green flag, or once we go back to green flag racing here, it looks like I think everyone's going to stay out after not even getting a full lap under green flag racing. But also besides that point too, it looked like for the most part that kind of spread out a little bit more compared to what our initial start of the race was. So I'm thinking for Johnny Eckert's sake, he probably wants this race to get spread out a little bit more. So they're not drafting up front and making those runs as we've seen in that first run, but when we first went green flag racing on lap 1.
You gotta wonder whether Johnny Eckert, Mike, is probably thinking the same way that Richard Mendonça was thinking over at Kansas when he dominated that night race. If you remember when that happened, that basically he had that long run to his benefit where he had the long run speed, and over the course of the run, he was able to kind of spread himself away from everybody else. I think that's what Johnny Eckert's looking forward to right now, because he can nail the restart, sure, but the field will start to catch up with the draft, and then all of a sudden he's going to have a lot more pressure to his rear end than he would probably want to. He wants to stay up front for the rest of this race to win. We're just about halfway through our race at this point, so I mean, there's still a good amount of ways to go here to go to the checkered flag in this first race, and I'm sure Johnny Eckert will look to kind of spread himself away from the field instead of getting them clustered back up every time.
Yeah, and you know, speaking of Mendonça, he's worked his way up into that 4th spot as well. So don't even count him out. You know, again, being fast at Kansas, so I'm sure he's looking to kind of repeat the speed that he had in that night. So look forward to see him charging up through the field. So it's going to be interesting. A lot of racing left, and I'm sure Johnny Eckert's kind of be unpredictable on this restart to kind of swindle the especially guys like Gerald Campbell who'll be starting alongside of him to try to get that best run, because off that initial restart, Blake Barney it wasn't Blake Barney, it was Blaze McKinney that started on the outside of him, was able to hold alongside and kept that pack pretty tight. But it looks like if you do get a good initial restart, spread that field out, they don't get quite the runs on you that a lot of these other guys have, and you're able to maybe maintain that lead. But as again, like you said, we're just past halfway here in heat number 1, and as these laps click down, the intensity is going to ramp itself up quite a bit, and I'm sure side-by-side racing will be aplenty once we go back green here on lap 2440 of the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation 120. Here for the OSCA Truck Series round number 10, the final race of the regular season. And Johnny Eckert leading the way, led every lap so far here tonight, looking to continue to do so. As you see the guys starting in 3rd, 4th, and kind of going through the field. Josh Duke all the way up into A spot. Haven't mentioned his name tonight here. Good run for him. See Tate Lytle working his way back up into the top 10 after getting in that little incident with David Carpenter right off the initial start. And there you see Dallas Myhand. Well, haven't seen him too much out on the racetrack. Kind of cool to see one of the founding guys up there. He's currently running in your 12th spot. And the pace car is going to get ready to tuck down onto pit road. And we're going to go back to green flag racing here in the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation 120 here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And the iRacing pace car is going to get ready to duck down pit road. And Johnny Eckert's going to lead him to the green. He's going to get another good restart here on lap number 24 as he's going to lead him down to the start-finish line. And once again, you see that inside line getting a lot of the momentum, and Johnny Eckert able to pick his lane as he goes down into turn 1, as Bundren's going to give Campbell all he can handle for that 2nd spot. It looks like Bundren's going to get that position. But oh, no, don't look now, Mendonça. He's going to try to get all the way up into that top 3 as well, as he's trying to, as of right now, it looks like that top side, Kenneth, isn't quite working as much as it used to. But as you can see, right now, it only looks like there's only 2, maybe 3 cars up on that top side. It's not quite getting that help, the momentum, to charge their way up to the front.
Yeah, not many people using that top side. It's better to rock the bottom. You see Glenn Bundren trying to work the middle right behind Johnny Eckert, and he may have a run coming to the back straight away. He'll look to the inside for the race lead. And Richard Mendonça tried the same move a couple laps earlier, but did not make it stick to the inside. The 37 goes into the lead out of turn 4.
He's going to see if he can clear him. He's maybe not going to clear him, but it looks like Bundren's going to lead this lap on lap number 26. But here comes it outside. It's now kind of got help as Campbell's pushing Eckert back towards the lead up top as he's going to try to clear Bundren. And looks like Eckert will do so. It's going to be a side-by-side battle between Gerald Campbell and Glenn Bundren for that second spot. And it looks like right now, just as we said earlier, the bottom line was getting all the help. Looked like the top kind of teamed up and was able to get Johnny Eckert back into the lead, but you see a lot of these guys switching what lanes they want to run to try to work their way up to the front. As you see Mendonça working his way up, trying to get that third spot, showing that a mile and a half speed that he's shown all year long. As he's looked like right now he's going to be boxed in by that battle for second spot between Campbell and Bundren. But looks like once again that top side's got all the help going into 3, and Bundren looks like he's going to be hung out to dry just a little bit.
He's going to have the draft, but watch these guys, Mendonça and Dennis Weeks. We talked about them in the midsection of the top 10, and now ever since they got that yellow bunch to field up, this is their opportunity to start gaining positions. Mendonça now slips into third, gets by Bundren to the inside, and that will allow DJ Weeks to do the same. Almost contact there as the nose was chopped off of the 46, as the 6 decided to shut the door there to the back straightaway. Still side by side for that fourth spot, and there's a lot of drama going up here as Johnny Eckert continues to hold comfortable lead.
Coley, looks like Weeks pushed up a little bit, able to stay off Mendonça, but as you see there, Bundren just pushing Mendonça down the straightaway. A little contact between the 37 and 91. As you can see the aggressiveness of the 37 trying to get back up into the top 3. As you see Josh Duke, he's throwing his hat into the ring as well, as he's currently in 6th spot trying to get into the top 5. But man, oh man, all this battling, and you got guys like Campbell and Eckert, your top 2. They're not pulling away, but they're just able to ride around, keep it easy with a lot of the drama that's going on behind them right now. No pressure for them as of right now. If it were me, I think you'd want to kind of team up at this point and try to get a run to the front. As you see some of these guys, you see Blake Barney and Blaze McKinney, who are mired back after incidents and penalties, trying to work their way back up towards the front. And we see another truck in the wall. Getting a little... Tracks seems like it's getting a little tight here, Kenneth. I think that was that 55 that just kissed the wall. This time, no one able to go into the inside wall as we keep going green here as we hit lap number 31 of 40. But Kenneth, right now, is it kind of the time to just maybe try to team up and see if you can get one last good run towards those 2 guys of Campbell and Eckert?
Well, you definitely have to, Mike. I mean, at this point, there's about 10 to 9 laps left in this first race, so time is running out, and you're probably expecting that it'll stay green from here on out if they stay clean. And you've been watching Glenn Bundren kind of fall into reverse gear as he's kind of losing positions over the course of this longer run. But if you're going to be guys like Richard Mendonça now, you have to start kind of working together with guys like Dylan Good and guys like Dennis Weeks. Use that draft to build that momentum and catch up to the top 2, because the tires have worn now. They're about 16, 17 laps all old on their tires. So at this point, the grip is starting to fall away, and you really have to start maneuvering the throttle a lot more and maneuvering the way you arc the truck into the corner. You do have some of that extra grip, but time again is running out. About 8 laps to go as Johnny Eckert will cross the start-finish line.
As they cross the start-finish line here on lap number 33, and Johnny Eckert still able to hold on to that lead. He's looking good so far. And you see these 2 guys of Campbell and Eckert able to make the handling of their race truck, as you said, Kenneth. Handling becoming a big factor, and right now between the 2, Johnny Eckert has about a 0.2 of a second lead over Gerald Campbell, but behind him you're looking at almost a second back to Mendonça. So those guys able to pull away. Looks like they're right now cruising away to lead as we have 7 laps to go here in heat number 1. But right now you do see the guys in Richard Mendonça and Dylan Good, and they're trying to team up, trying to draft their way to the front. But is there enough time to get back up and catch those guys? Campbell and Eckert, that's going to be the huge question here.
And what's going to be even bigger is that the points situation will be kind of fluctuated a little bit, because you saw Vincent Isabella, his struggles back to 23rd, but now It'll bunch the field up because the yellow does come out, and I believe this is from the caution clock, but I believe actually no, there might have been an incident. Riley Marabello in the 09, and the Snowman Studios Toyota Tundra with heavy damage coming to pit road. I'm not sure exactly what happened there. There's the 24 Steven Schumann. We'll try to see what happened here as we look at the replay.
We'll look at the KBRN network replay. You see Schumann unfortunately getting involved in that wreck. Might have been the one spinning, and Tepe and also involved. And ooh, a chain reaction. It looked like Schumann was the one to initially spin here. Oh, actually, Beers was. Beers and Lytle make contact going into turn number 3. And Schumann just kind of a victim of the circumstance here, as Beers able to kind of keep it straight after he spins out. But unfortunate for Schumann, Tepe, Marbello, and some of the other guys that were involved in that wreck. Oh man, hard hit to the rear end, and then he gets tagged in the rear end, and some heavy damage to his truck as well. And oh, that was a hard hit in the corner of that 24 truck, so heavy damage for him. And again, for a guy that's battling for that, trying to get that last-ditch effort for the chase, this is not going to bode well for him. And ouch. And nowhere to go for Adam Tepe.
You see it there. I believe it was Tate Lytle trying to squeeze it through wide. Austin Beers didn't necessarily see him there, and they chopped off the nose, closed the door, but they made contact, which in turn sends the 24, or at least actually yes, Beers gets tagged from the middle by Tate Lytle, and then it gets into the 24, caused that chain reaction, and then of course you see even further behind it was Riley Marabello, who was trying to slow down for the wreck, got into Adam Tepe slowing down, and then I believe it was the 64 of Kyle Wagren, who you see right now staying out, was more than one lap down. He got into it as well with some of that damage, got into the rear end of that 09 truck. But we do have an interesting thing here, Mike, because Johnny Eckert has been placed all the way back in 8th, and everybody from about 4th on back decided to pit this time by. So fresh tires versus the old tires, and Campbell and most of the guys in the top 3 like to stay out.
Yeah, I think you have, as you see, the 64 truck did dive down pit road, so I believe it's just the top 2 of Campbell and Kuzma. And I think those 2 guys are going to be a sitting duck. We've seen how tight the trucks get after a couple laps. So I think with these 4 fresh feel goods for much of the field, I think they're going to have quite the advantage. Maybe some 2-tire strategy. I don't know if Mendonça did, because he was running up in the top 3. But I think maybe Big Kitty made the pit call to make up for the Blake Barney's mistake. He's up into the 4th spot. So as we talked about to lead the show, you know, we're here at Sin City. I think a couple of these guys are making some gambles with no tires, 2 tires, and 4 tires. So it's going to be interesting to see how this final restart's going to play out, as I think we're going to boil down to at least one of the green-white checkers by the time we get going back green.
And this might be potentially dangerous for Gerald Campbell, because he now, as everybody cycled through, all the drivers who were a lap down have now gone down pit road, cycled themselves out. Gerald Campbell is on 22-lap old tires, but meanwhile, everybody else behind him just recently pitted. So that means it is going to be pretty much getting swallowed by the field, with the biggest concern for Gerald Campbell next time by, unless he decides to pit, which in turn he'll lose a lot of track position. So I think at this point, he's already well into his strategy call right now that he has no option but to just stay out here, and this may be very dangerous. But we did see Johnny Eckert dominating a good chunk of this race, and now he's all the way mired back in 6th. So now that he's in traffic, how will this affect his speed and performance overall, and especially even worse now that he may be starting on the outside this next restart? And it's going to be very tough for that 90 truck to get back to where he was at a very quick call. And now we're going to get a restart with about 2 laps to go here from Vegas.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. You know, I think Johnny Eckert might have been the first one to take 4 tires in that 6th spot. So again, I think the 0-tire strategy probably not going to work here for Gerald Campbell. But, you know, a couple quick yellows, you never know. It could pay off for him here. And the field's doubling up to go to green. And, you know, I think the key is if Campbell can get a good restart, maybe a quick caution, be able to stay out front. But I'm looking for Mendonça to get a good restart on the outside and see if those two tires stick on that high line. And I'm thinking even for that 0-0 of Big Kitty and Blake Barney, you know, Big Kitty making that pit call, take 2 tires. He's hoping Gerald gets a good restart here. He's able to clear that 46 and maybe make quick work of Campbell as well. But we're about to find out as the pace car is going to dive off as we're going to the green-white checkered here in heat number 1 of the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation 120 here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. You know what's on the line. This is the final race before we hit to the playoffs next week at Phoenix. And Gerald Campbell's going to lead him to the green, and he does, in fact, get a good restart as he's going to head down to turn 1. We'll see how well it sticks with these old 22-lap old tires. And as of right now, looks like Blake Barney in that 3rd spot. He's able to clear the 46 of Mendonça. So we'll see, but look at Johnny Eckert with those 4 fresh feel goods. He's flying up through the field, and he's going to be aggressively coming up to that 4th spot. He's going to try to battle to get in that top 3 as those other 2 guys in 2nd and 3rd. They're going to try to hound the 6th truck of Gerald Campbell for the lead, and here comes the 0-0 Blake Barney on the outside as they hit the white flag, but don't look now. Here comes that 90 truck of Johnny Eckert as they come down into 1. And right now, oh, it looks like the sitting duck of Gerald Campbell's going to be in the middle, but oh, Blake Barney goes around. He's in the wall. Gerald Campbell still holds on to the lead as they head down into turn number 3. As, oh man, what a turn of events. Who would have thought? As they come out of turn number 4, Mendonça gives them the bumper as they're coming down to the line. Here they come. It looks like Gerald Campbell's going to win heat number 1. Wow,
unbelievable.
Who would have thought?
On the oldest tires of them all, holds off a charging Richard Mendonça, gave him the bump and run to the end, but did not make the pass complete. What a defensive stance there by Campbell. Wow.
To take heat win number 1, Gerald Campbell let it all ride. Went all in on the old tires. I mean, you know, we're in Vegas. We're talking betting odds here, Kenneth. I would have put that well under 1% that he was going to win that race with those old set of tires. And just how aggressive that ramped up to be there towards the end, it definitely paid off. And that under 1%, maybe a 0.5% turned into 100%, as you will see just how close that came down to the line. It looked like Mendonça had all that momentum, and he even got Campbell a little loose. As you see, that's where Blake Barney goes around. And that's kind of what lost the momentum for Johnny Eckert that might have kept him out of the chance to win that race. But man, as you see the run, as Campbell had to take that middle line and just that little bit of contact, maybe a little bit of neck coat, gets a little bit of Johnny Eckert there as well, loses that momentum, but man, coming down the line right here, I would have thought that Mendonça was going to get a huge run, and he did. He even got a little bit of that bumper right there, and I thought, oh man, he's going to be pushing up, he's going to go towards the wall, but able to hang on, a power move by that 6 truck. As just see how close that is. That's a bumper. He's still coming.
That is so close. Take a look at it right here. Right there they come to the front straightaway. Here's the line. This is the margin of victory between the two. I think it's just it cannot get closer than that, really. Yeah. Between them, especially with the way that Mendonça had to run, because he had to push from Dylan Gooden as well. In the 75, you'll see it down here. Gooden tries to give the push. Mendonça has the run to the grass. Maybe that grass might have, clipping the grass might have slowed him down just a little bit, but just a defensive move by Campbell to stay in the lead and keep control on the oldest tires. I think that's as textbook as you can get right there.
Yeah, it looked, because even on that replay when you showed it in slow-mo, as we were getting to be about like 50 feet from the start-finish line, it looked like he was still closing in, and I think just that little clip of the grass, he's seen his left side of his tires kind of make the jump. I think that killed a little bit of his momentum, and Gerald Campbell able to hold on to the victory. But as we're getting ready for heat number 2 here, I think Kenneth and I got to catch our breath. We'll go hit a quick break. We'll catch you on the other side as they're gonna grid them up for heat number 2. The top 13 will invert here tonight, as we'll check out who's gonna start up front for heat number 2. We'll be right back after these messages.
I am here and now, where stories you pass down are born. I am where drivers become legends, and legends become the new kings. I'm where nothing's impossible. Even a champion rising again in Phoenix. I'm moving forward, and if you really try, you can catch me. I am NASCAR.
And welcome back to the KBRN Network. We're live here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway for round 10 of the OSCA Truck Series. And we had a wild one, Kenneth, for heat number 1. And we're just about to start, get ready for heat number 2. And, I'm still trying to catch my breath after that wild final lap there in heat number 1. And I don't expect much different here for heat number 2. I think these boys are going to be on it.
Well, the race is going to start a little bit earlier, but I'm pretty sure you and I can agree that the racing that we saw there was wild, and the racing that we saw in the first race is probably going to be the same kind of racing we're going to see in the second race. But the thing here will be that the top 13 will invert here, so that will mean Storm Patterson will be the head of the grid with Blaze McKinney, who fell back in that last run due to incident, and basically the drivers who did start at the head of everything, Mendonça, Joe Campbell, they're going to be in the midfield. So that's also going to be another posing challenge for them as they continue, or at least they're going to start to grid right behind the iRace official pace car.
Yeah, the field is getting set, and just kind of going over your top 5, as you mentioned, Kenneth. Storm Patterson going to be starting on the pole here for heat number 2. Blaze McKinney in second spot. Third spot is a short track kid of Austin Beers. Johnny Eckert, after looking like he was going to have a chance to win, lost all that momentum. But the good news is he does start up towards the front. He's going to be starting in 4th, and Tate Lytle will round out your top 5. So, yeah, probably what we thought going into turn number 1, how that finishing order was going to be. Not quite how they'll rack them up here in heat number 2. Again, the top 13 inverted, so Gerald Campbell will be lined up back into that 13th spot. You see him gridded up there. And, man, oh, man, I expect a lot of those guys, we see some fast guys that are going to be in the back of this pack that are going to be trying to work their way up to the front. And it should be a fun battle here, as we'll see. We've seen that speed from Blaze McKinney early on in the heat. He was running in second spot when he got taken out by Matthew Weeks on the front stretch. So I expect him to run up front, but we'll see. There's a lot, again, like you said, a lot of different players that we haven't seen up front, as we mentioned, our pole sitter here, Storm Patterson. So it should be interesting. And we're going to hold on as we going to be about a half a lap away to going green here in heat number 2 of the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation 120 here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway for the OSCA Truck Series. Again, this is the final race before we hit to the playoffs. And Gerald Campbell making a good statement, a good points day for him to take over that points lead after he lost it last week to Vincent Isabella. As we mentioned, Isabella had early trouble in that race, unable to secure a top 20. I think he's starting all the way back. Well, starting 17, so he did get in the top 20. As Storm Patterson's going to lead him down to the green flag here. The iRacing official pace car is going to duck down onto pit road, and we're about to go green here in heat number 2. Storm Patterson's going to hit the loud pedal. And McKinney on that outside as he's shown on the initial restart of heat number 1. Great start along that outside. They're going to go side by side down into turn number 1. And right now, it looks like that inside is going to prevail as Storm Patterson's going to take the lead coming out of turn 2. But right now, I think this is where we're going to see that pack racing as we've seen early on in heat number 1, sorry. But look at Johnny Eckert. He's looking to try to take that, get into that top spot where he was in heat number 1 for most of it. Oh, Tate Lytle hard into the outside wall. Looks like we might stay green flag racing there, but the 56 hits the wall hard. And he's going to lose a lot of momentum, a lot of speed as he falls off the track here. But right now, Blaze McKinney showing that horsepower all by himself on the outside. He's trying to make that charge. He's got that momentum. They're going to go down into turn number 3.
And still no pure, clear-cut momentum there for the bottom side. Even if you hook it all the way to the white line, you still won't be able to completely clear the driver up top. We saw McKinney in the longer one fall off on the outside lane, but now he's been able to really hang tight. But watch the driver in third, the driver who dominated the entirety of Heat 1 all up until the very end. Johnny Eckert of the 90 machine started 4th on the invert after falling back on that last restart. He has a chance to prance on these two if they end up tangling. Here he goes, 3 wide for the lead.
3 wide as they're diving down into turn 3, but it looks like they sorted out a little bit as Storm Patterson's kind of the loser in that one, but Blaze McKinney's going to take the lead, and they're going to stay off each other. I thought Eckert maybe was going to push up into that 51 truck as they kind of maybe touch doors just a little bit, as now throw Johnny Eckert into the lead going down into turn 1, but the question is he going to make it stick coming out of 2? As you see that 51 Rowdy Energy Toyota Tundra getting that run on the outside. But now Storm Patterson, he's trying to collect himself and get back up front towards that lead. But how about this? Matthew Weeks, we've seen him up front battling with Blaze McKinney earlier on in heat number 1 before they got together. He's throwing his hat in the ring as well as they battle 2 by 2 here for the top 4 as they dive down into turn number 1.
And still in this pack, Matthew Weeks, remember him and Blaze McKinney got in that incident, spun around on the front straightaway. This is their chance for redemption, even early in the top 5, in the lap number 5 of 40. Still a long way to go, but Weeks already on the pounce. He's looking to the inside, still with the draft from the 90 right in front of him. Watch Josh Duke as well, crept up in the top 10. Gabriel Edwards, they've separated themselves from Dylan Gooden in the 8th spot. So top 7 again as split right here, Mike. Still side by side as McKinney holds the door for the race lead.
Yeah, they're side by side currently going in to coming out of the corners. Looks like Eckert gets the advantage, but here you'll see Blaze McKinney get that good run down the backstretch as they almost touch doors again as they get ready to dive down into turn number 3. And you can see the inside charge will get you the lead coming into the corner, but coming out, looks like Blaze McKinney's going to get the advantage. But right now, they are side by side, and it looks like Eckert will actually lead that lap as they hit the stripe. But, if you're in that front pack, these guys like Duke and Edwards that are kind of staying back, kind of staying out of the mayhem just a little bit, maybe waiting for one of these guys to slip up, as sometimes, especially between that 90 and 51 up front, you can almost put a piece of paper between them, and I don't even know if that's enough room for how close these guys are running right now.
And you got to think as well, even though these two are battling fairly aggressively for that top spot, remember the tires are going to start to fall off. You do have the caution clock that will be ignited if we stay green long enough. However, you're going to have a semi-long green flag anyway, and the tires are definitely going to fall off by that time that the caution comes out. So even if you know you had that saving grace of the yellow flag coming out, you need to acknowledge the fact that your truck is going to start to wear down, and racing like this lap after lap after lap is not going to give. And you see there the 90 decides to cede that position to the 87 of Blaze McKinney, so Blaze McKinney will hold the race lead, and Storm Patterson, Matthew Weeks, Austin Beers will cap off the top 5, and now here comes Storm Patterson for the 2nd spot.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough thing, I think, to battle it internally as a driver. As you see, maybe Eckert trying to just maybe regroup and maybe make a late charge and maybe time it up with that caution clock. I think we'd probably get just short of 20 laps if everything does stay green here before that caution would come out. Because you want to be in that position where maybe you could win that race off pit road. You don't want to fade too far back if you burn those tires up. But again, knowing the caution clock's going to come out, Kenneth, you also have that liberty to maybe run your tires a little bit harder than you normally would, say in a race that doesn't feature a caution clock, and not knowing when the next caution would come out. So it's an interesting strategy that you got to kind of battle yourself internally to able to stay within arm's reach of the leader. So again, different strategies. You see Josh Duke here in the 5th spot right now in the 32 truck, and it looked like he's kind of taking it easy for the most part. Maybe a little bit of damage to the rear end of his truck on the, of course, the rear end to the tailgate. But you see some of these guys maybe using the tires that they saved right now. Austin Beers battling up in that 6th spot, charging on the outside. He's trying to see if he's got any good rubber left before we hit to that caution clock, which, again, ballparking it maybe in about another 7 laps or so. But as you see here, as of note, Gerald Campbell in 10th spot, Kenneth, only moved up 3 spots since the start. So for him, starting all the way in the back as of right now, it kind of looks like that's hampered him a little bit from contending for a night sweep.
It may have hampered him for now on this sort of run, but remember, we're still late in that run. We're still going to get at that point, as I believe right in front of him, Josh Duke almost had a moment to the outside wall at a turn 2, but Gerald Campbell, I think right now, just trying to hold his own. I believe he knows the caution clock is going to come out. Everybody's fairly separated, so he doesn't believe a caution will come out fairly soon, and if we get to the ignition of the caution clock, he knows he can go down pit road, kind of reset, and change his plan up. So I don't think he's kind of, in a bad spot. I think he's just kind of waiting till the rest of it. Unlike everybody else who's running aggressively up front, he's keeping himself conservative, keeping himself calm, going to try to methodically make these moves. That's how Campbell's been running all season long. That's the reason why he's one of the most consistent trucks in this series. So right behind Gabriel Edwards at the moment, still yet to complete that pass, but up front, Blaze McKinney has now reached out of the race lead by just a little bit over Donnie Eckert.
Yeah, he holds almost a 0.2 of a second lead over Eckert as they are kind of single filed out, as you said, on those worn out tires. Everyone just kind of trying to get to that point where we get the caution clock to come out, and they're able to dive down pit road, get some fresh rubber, and they're able to put on the boxing gloves again and duke it out for the race win. And there's the guy, the points leader coming into the night, was Vincent Isabella. Again, he had that rough start with that incident on lap number 1 or 2 in heat number 1 with David Carpenter. So he finished 17th, started 17th in this heat, worked his way up into the 12th spot. He's a guy who looks like maybe might have to use some pit strategy to get himself up front, or maybe after the next caution, charge up front. But as we were mentioning, Gerald Campbell only able to get up into that 10th position. He's already moved up 1 spot, looking to get another from the 32 truck of Josh Duke, and he will, to move up Gerald Campbell into the 8th spot. So man, oh man, I think almost every week you see that 6 truck, he's either running up front in the lead or in second place battling for the lead, or those nights that you don't quite hear a lot from Kenneth. He's kind of like Kevin Harvick. Just right at the end of the race, you're like, where did he come from? And he's out there. He's always got he always finds his way up to the front at the right time, kind of like you were saying earlier.
Yeah, you find some of that pattern. He either completely dominates a race, runs in the top 3, and is competitive all night long, or in one of the other races, he can kind of hang in the back, get out of the chaos, and if he's able to survive all of that, then he just magically shows up in the top 5, and he's able to walk away with a good finish. We have seen some struggles out of the 6, of course, getting into incidents. We've seen that happen to him before. I believe most notably at Kansas, we saw that happen. We saw it a couple times in some of the tracks this season, but usually when he's not involved in a wreck or something does not happen to him with significant contact or damage, you're going to see this 6 truck running in the top 5, top 10, maybe even for the win most of the time. And you saw right there that last time by, gained 2 positions from where he was initially. Got by Gabriel Edwards, who had some damage to the outside, or at least his right side of his truck, and just got by Josh Duke, and is now clamping in for the drivers for 7th and 6th, Dennis Weeks and Dylan Gooden. So over time, that 6 has been methodically moving his way on the long run, and knowing that there's a caution clock going to come out, track position will be everything when you get those 4 fresh tires and fuel.
Yeah, the track position will be key, and the key is, will Gerald Campbell be able to make a move to gain a couple more spots before the caution will come out? Again, for that 10-minute caution clock, as we got to be getting pretty close here. Maybe another lap before that happens. as right now you see Johnny Eckert closing in just a little bit, but unable. I don't think he's going to get the run on that inside to take the lead here as he pulls up alongside, but I think McKinney's going to get the run. Actually, wow, what a power move. Hung out a little bit better than I originally thought. And there is the caution. The caution clock, caution, it is official, is out. So Eckert was trying to make that move, probably knew that the time was coming up here pretty quick. So he's going to make one last ditch effort to take the lead, but Blaze McKinney will hold on to that lead as we are at halfway of heat number 2 of the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation 120 here at Las Vegas. So we'll see. Now is where it's going to get interesting, Kenneth. They're going to go down pit road. It's going to, I think, very, very huge what's going to happen. I don't know if we're going to see many different strategies under this set of pit stops, but who can get in and off pit road, even though it's under caution, can be a big factor on track position here, as pit stops are going to be coming up here shortly.
It is, and a pure example that we literally just saw tonight in the first race, Mike. Blake Barney took over the race lead on pit stops, but then got that pit road speeding penalty, put him way back in the field. So these drivers are hoping that does not happen to them, and this will be key. You see Eckert just getting right to the back bumper of McKinney, trying to get as much ground as he can make up here and before they get to their actual pit stalls. And McKinney will be near the front of the pit sequence as he started up in I believe the 4th spot or around the top 5. So McKinney will try to look there and maybe hopefully get his way out first. So everybody will be in. I believe the consensus here is 4 tires and fuel to get themselves to the end of this race. And if we get another long green flag run, I don't believe the caution clock will be implemented. So at this point, we'll see who gets out first and whether McKinney can hold on to this lead.
Yeah, as they are getting service underway, you see the cars getting jacked up. McKinney's on roll, and he looks like he'll lead him off pit road. Looks like Matthew Weeks might have just edged out Johnny Eckert. We'll have to see what the official scoring decision is on that one. And it looks like Weeks did win. Gooden will be coming out in about the 3rd spot. There are a couple trucks that stayed out. I don't know if it's just to get some TV time up front. You see the 24 truck of Schumann and the 64 of Walgren. They stay out on their old tires. I don't believe they're going to be staying out fully. I'm assuming they'll be ducking down pit road. And it does look like, I wonder where Johnny Eckert, if he might have had, oh no, Johnny Eckert is in 2nd. Okay, so it does look like Weeks, or Eckert did just edge out Matthew Weeks for that 2nd spot, as you do see the 24 and 64 now getting their service down at pit road. So credit Schumann for leading 1 lap on your scorecards at home. And wow, that had to be a close race between that 90 and 11. I thought maybe the 11 truck of Matthew Weeks just edged out Johnny Eckert. But, you know, as we've seen on these, besides the initial restarts, Kenneth, if I'm that 11 truck, that might have been a saving grace, because it looks like after that initial start, you know, when we take the first green flag on these restarts, it looks like being on that inside is key. So that might have been a little bit of a break for that 11 truck, who looked like he might have beat the 90 truck off pit road, but he'll be starting in 3rd on that inside row.
Yeah, it'll certainly help him, but at least the biggest factor here is that if McKinney chooses the inside to start on this next restart on what should be, I believe, lap number 24, right after the halfway mark, this will be good for Weeks to kind of measure where McKinney will start going first, and then he could already jump to the inside of Johnny Eckert before Eckert could even make a decision. Eckert as well could try to nail this restart and keep position over the 11. Considering how close they are and considering the positions that they're going to be in, it'll be relatively easier for Matthew Weeks if he gets this restart down right to get to the inside and potentially look for 2nd. But I wouldn't say, Mike, that the inside is dominant here, because we've seen the middle line work. If you're able to pinch the driver down low, you're able to keep position, and Johnny Eckert can completely do the same thing. We've seen it happen before with the top competitors, and everybody in this field, we can definitely see it once more.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it goes on this restart, as it looks like they might be coming down to 1 to green. But before we do that, just to let you know, if you have any questions or want to join the conversation with us up in the booth, you can use hashtag AskKBRN if you want to join the conversation with us. And you can ask us, put any question you'd like, followed by that hashtag. Again, that's hashtag AskKBRN for anything you want to know or ask, or comments on how crazy this race has been so far. As again, the field's doubling up to go to green. Blaze McKinney is your leader. Started second in this heat, able to get that lead early on. And right now, he's got those 4 fresh tires, along with everyone else that's hit pit road. And kind of an interesting note here. Usually, last week was a big ID Racing dominance, but we haven't seen that quite so far here tonight. I don't think Blaze McKinney's part of ID Racing. And
No,
Gerald Campbell,
he's definitely not. No, he's not. He's one of the drivers, I think, independent in his own right. He does drive for, I believe, Flying Arrows on most of his competition. Doesn't have a scheme for the truck since he's running the Rowdy Energy one, but yeah, he does. He's not a member of ID Racing. I think the only other ID Racing you'll see in the top 5 is Austin Baier. So even for them, it has been a rough night for them so far at ID Racing being so dominant this season.
But as we go back to green flag racing, there's still a lot of racing to be had as we're coming down to the green flag here on lap number 24 of heat number 2 of the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation 120. And it looks like a good restart for that 51 truck of Blaze McKinney as he's going to take that lead. But Johnny Eckert able to hang on to that second spot on the outside. So good restart for the 90 truck on that outside as he's going to try to charge back up to the back bumper of that 51. Going down into turn number 3. Oh, McKinney throws a block. A lot of aggressive driving here for the top 2 as they're once again side by side. We've seen this earlier once they had fresher tires. Ooh, looks like Eckert washes up a little bit. Almost contact between the two. And coming down to the line, it looks like Eckert's going to retake that lead as he will. But the question is, and it has been when these two guys have battled, can he hang on to it? And maybe Matthew Weeks is going to have something to say about that as well as they're coming out of turn number 2.
And at this point, you see as they're riding on board with Matthew Weeks in the 11, he has a full front view from the front row right at what's happening right in front of him. And if they can mess up, he could definitely try to take advantage to the inside, outside, wherever he sees fit. I think right here in third, Mike, would be probably the most advantageous one because you could take the best line and use the draft to the best of your ability and even build up a run at a turn 2 to take it 3 wide. Watch him move almost to the inside, trying to split it between himself and McKinney. Maybe going to get to his rear bumper. He'll get a little bit of contact, but they will stay straight. And now Austin Baier will start to put his name into this fight.
And I think almost what that did, well, now that I say that, McKinney does get back to the inside. But with that battle there, and wow, what a power move. He's going to clear the 90 truck of Eckert, but maybe a crossover move coming out of 4. No, he does not. And wasn't able to get the run. Oh, they make contact. Around goes the 51 of McKinney once again. The second heat in a row. But he's able to keep it straight and able to keep on going. But now, look at this, Matthew Weeks. And how about this? We talked about the bad luck of ID Racing. The short track kid, he's doing it at 1.5 tracks. Austin Baier, he's in the 3rd spot in that number 3 truck. So still, it's a 3-horse battle for the top spot as Matthew Weeks right now has a little bit of advantage coming out of 4, but it looks like to the line it might be Johnny Eckert just by a little bit. At the stripe, Eckert did lead that lap barely. I mean, that had to be dang near tied. And Baier is looking, he's going to try to make it 3 wide. Wasn't able to do so there, as he's trying to get alongside that 11 truck of Matthew Weeks to get into that 2nd spot, but nothing doing right now. But hey, we were talking about too, as Weeks is getting to the inside of the 90 truck of Eckert, Gerald Campbell has worked his way up into that 4th spot. So again, never count out that 6th truck of Gerald Campbell as he's making a charge for these guys. And I gotta wonder, and Vincent Isabella too, working his way up to 7th after starting 17th. As he's going to try to even get to the 6th spot of Storm Patterson. And almost contact, and they're getting aggressive. 3 wide. Oh, they're able to keep it straight. I was worried about that for a second there. That was tight racing as there's still 3 wide going in. This is the battle for about 7th spot. As you see Marbella about right on the white line. He can't mess up or he's going to get one of the 2 guys on top of him. As they come to line, Vincent Isabel still holding on to that 7th spot, but it is tight. It looks like he'll clear the 91 truck of Dennis Weeks, and hopefully, 3 wide again, they cross over. Hopefully nothing comes out of this, but man, what a battle for 7th spot, getting aggressive. Ooh, now they're beating and banging, Kenneth. And, oh, there's the contact. Around goes, oh, Vincent Isabella did get involved. Up off 4 wheels is the 91 truck. It was probably a matter of time, Kenneth, before that kind of happened. It was a pretty aggressive running for that 7th spot.
Yeah, it was. There were 3 wide. It seemed as though they were clean. They door banged, both of them, trying to put the 91 in the middle. And then all of a sudden, it just goes all to waste there. And I was going to say before, as they were racing 3 wide, Mike, that it's been a tough night for the 42 already. The points leader going into this race, and as of halfway after the first race, lost the points lead to Gerald Campbell, and has been trying to work his way back up to some sort of decent position. Was there in this 3 wide situation, and now he gets put in big trouble. And to see the contact here with Weeks that kicks things off.
Yep, and just a little bit of contact between the two, a chain reaction. Looks like Harrison Talion again getting involved in this one. So a tough night for, especially the 09, the 42, as you said, the 23 has been involved in incidents in heat number 1 as well. But I think if you're Vincent Isabella, you're still solidly into the chase. There's no, the only thing he really had to fight for is to maintain that points lead. He proved that he could muscle his way, get up into that points lead. He did so. He did show speed here tonight. He did work his way up through the field here. As you see on the onboard of Dennis Weeks, it's just all 3 cars just kind of beating and banging off each other, and just one too many times before calamity hit. But, besides the bad luck here tonight for Vincent Isabella, and I'm sure he's going to be upset about that, but he did show he does have speed, and I think he will still have some sort of confidence going into next week at Phoenix.
Yeah, we'll instill some confidence. Vincent Isabella, though, is going to try and stay out on that damage, but we're going to presume that he is going to go down pit road. But watch that move out of pit road from the leaders. Austin Beers gets a jump on everybody behind and takes over what may be net P1 this time by if Vincent Isabella does decide to go down pit road. So a power move down pit road on a strategy call by the ID Racing Red Bull Toyota Tundra. He'll be ahead of Johnny Eckert and Matthew Weeks here, Mike, so it will be very interesting. But like we've seen so far, and especially on fresh tires, in a pack, nothing is guaranteed. You can hold the lead for as long as you can, but at some point, somebody's going to build a run, somebody's going to get to your inside or outside, and you're going to have a tough battle to really hold them off for any position, not only just the race lead.
Hey, man, you never know. That tricky short track kid taking 2 tires. That might be the move. We see Gerald Campbell do it with no tires here, but maybe a little bit different of circumstances with a different strategy. As it looks like everyone behind him will have 4 fresh good years behind him. So it'll be interesting to see if this does pay off, but maybe just getting into that clean air will be just enough for him to get the victory here in heat number 2. Sometimes maybe that's all you need is track position. And again, we're here at Vegas. It's the time to gamble. And if you're the short track kid, I know he's a guy, he might not be old enough to gamble legally, but here on iRacing you can, and that will net him the top spot, as we did see Vincent Isabella go down pit road, probably just to get a lap led before he had to get his damage fixed from that latest incident. But again, now our top 5 is going to be Austin Beers, Johnny Eckert in 2nd, Matthew Weeks in 3rd, Dylan Gooden in 4th, and Gerald Campbell will round out that top 5. But we do see Blaze McKinney, we've seen him going through the grass not too long ago before that caution. He's going to work his way up into that 6th spot. So I'm sure he's going to have no pun intended with the name Blaze, but he's going to have a fire lit under him, and he's going to probably be wanting to charge his way up towards the front.
Yeah, and the best part about this situation, especially with that half spin, was that he was able to save it, and he barely got any damage from it. I think there's a little bit of damage to the rear spoiler of his truck, but it isn't enough to really affect the performance or the handling of his race car. So nonetheless, Blaze McKinney does still have a shot theoretically to win this thing or try and get more positions out of it. That last time when he did spin in the first race, he got some damage, so that did hurt him significantly. But now, with minimal damage, he's going to be starting on the outside of row 3 behind Dylan Gooden. It could be a good spot for either him or Gerald Campbell to still gain positions out of this, and also as well as Riley Marabello in the 09 picked up some damage from that recent yellow, but he's still in the top 10, so it's not over till it's over.
Yeah, yes, indeed, and we're talking about saving tires earlier on in this heat, managing that before the caution clock and all that, but as we're going to come down to green with 6 laps to go, it's all out. It's going to be all or nothing here at Vegas. We're pushing all the chips to the center of the table. It's going to be aggressive. And the question is going to be, can that 3 truck the short track kid of Austin Beers. Can he salvage ID's Racing's night and get a win? He's got 2 tires where everyone behind him has 4. We're about to find out as the pace truck's going to get ready, or the pace car, my bad, it's going to get ready to dive down pit road as we're going to hit the green flag here on lap number 35 here in round number 10 here for the OSCA Truck Series at Las Vegas. Again, the final race before we go to the playoffs next week at Phoenix. And here goes Austin Beers. He's going to get a good restart. He's going to take the lead as they hit the stripe going down into turn number 1. Johnny Eckert getting another good start along the outside. But here comes Matthew Weeks to his inside. Going to be battling, as we've seen earlier. Those 2 guys not afraid to be battling side by side. As you see back in the pack, a lot of three wide racing up towards the front as Weeks and Eckert contact. It looks like he gets into the wall. He's going to lose a bunch of spots once again. Able to keep going. More contact. Is that Weeks that gets in the wall, gets shoved up into the outside wall as both those trucks shoved all the way back into the 7th and 8th positions. And now how about this? Storm Patterson to the lead. He started on the pole, fell back a little bit. He's back up front. And Blaze McKinney, who started second, he's worked his way back up after going into the grass not too many laps ago. He's going to be battling up on the outside. And contact between the 63 and the 51 trucks as they're heading down to turn 4. It's a battle up front between Blaze and Storm.
And still, we saw the trading positions happen in just a matter of moments. Look at Dylan Gooden in the 75. He had a chance to run for 3rd in the final laps of that first race, now with a chance to win in this second one. Austin Beers falling out. Patterson washing up the track. Here comes Gooden to the inside. McKinney still holding strong for the race lead at this point, but it's side by side for second. Look at Campbell ducking under Austin Beers, and he'll turn him around.
There's contact. Everyone's able to keep it straight. But, oh, man, losing track position is from 3rd on back. How about the 09 of Riley Marbella? We've seen him just in that instant. He's all the way up into the 4th spot as we have 3 laps to go. But it's good salvage night, but right now it looks like it's a battle between the top 3 of Blaze McKinney in 1st, Dylan Gooden in 2nd, and Storm Patterson as you're riding along with him for that 3rd spot as they're diving down into 3. Does the 75, does the 63, do they have one last charge to get up front and battle Blaze McKinney for that win as we hit the stripe? 2 to go here in the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation 120 here at Las Vegas. As right now, Storm Patterson looking to the inside, trying to get that 2nd spot. That's exactly what Blaze McKinney wants to see, these 2 guys battling side by side, so he can pick and choose what lane he wants to go to as they go down into turn number 3, as it's still a heck of a battle here for about 7th spot on back, as that might bring caution, but we are going to get to the white flag, so the next flag is going to be the checkered flag as they come around. Blaze McKinney looks like all he has to do is hit his marks and he will be able to get this win, unless Storm Patterson, who did work his way up into the 2nd spot, can make one last charge for that 51 truck as they head on down into turn number 3. And it looks like all he has to do is hit his marks. Looks like he'll do so, as coming down to the line, Blaze McKinney going from the grass to take the checkered flag. He's going to take win number 2 in the OSCA Truck Series Cystic Fibrosis Foundation 120 here at Las Vegas. And again, Storm Patterson coming home in 2nd, Dylan Gooden in 3rd, 4th, what a salvage night there for Riley Marbello in 4th, and Blake Barney working his way up into 5th as he's having a little fun, taking Big Kitty for a ride there on the hood. And 6th spot is Glenn Bundren, and Gerald Campbell, as of note, finished 8th spot, trying to make a charge up towards the front, but a lot of mayhem there, Kenneth, to wind down this race. And what a run by Blaze McKinney. And it wasn't even that many laps ago. We seen him going through the grass trying to battle for that lead, able to come back and take the checkered flag.
And a fantastic run and a comeback for the 87 of McKinney. And we saw him made his start at Gateway not too long ago. Showed up strong there, was not able to grab the win in either of the heats, but I think this finally feels good for Mike, that he's finally able to capture a checkered flag in the final race of the regular season. And now he'll be able to burn it down with Gerald Campbell being the other winner in heat number 1. So he'll burn it down, and another great finish for Riley Marabello. And you said it there, both of them with half incidents, both of them having a rough heat number 1, but able to come back after it all to get great positions in heat number 2.
Yeah, it was good finishes for Storm Patterson, Dylan Gooden, able to stay up front all night long. And how about Patterson too? He started on the pole, kind of fell back a little bit, but able to come up front and finish in that second position. As we'll get ready to do some interviews here, and we'll start it off with the winner of heat number 1. And that's going to be Gerald Campbell. And we'll bring him in here. And Gerald, brought the wrong driver in. Brought the wrong driver in, sorry.
Wow. Wow,
My bad, I think that was the last second ad there. Here we go, now I'm on the right name. As we'll bring in Gerald Campbell in for the interview. I got the right guy here this time, and Gerald didn't have as much luck in the second heat, but I think us up here in the booth in heat number 1, you stayed out on those old tires. I gave you about a 0.5% chance of winning that race, but you made it 100% chance. What was the secret there to hold everyone off on those old tires?
I was just trying to race my own groove, and I know that they were going to try to push me down to the bottom line. And when you have old tires, I'm just gonna. There's just nothing I could do. I would probably end up spinning it. So I tried to take the middle groove, and they were racing me really, 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 really close. And I don't know if it was net code. I know that team likes to say I just went out and just turned them, but I promise you, I didn't go out there and just yank the wheel and turn nobody. I stayed in my groove. And then the second race was just me dodging that whole team from trying to wreck me. So it was going into, I guess, this chase with some fun, I guess.
Yeah, and it looks like you'll be able to retake that top spot going into the chase. From what we've seen of you so far, you got to be the heavy favorite here going in for that championship. And I know you said this before, you're not too worried about the points, but now we're getting to playoff time. Is it something that's kind of on your mind?
Because as it shows tonight, I mean, you could end up just being in the lead and just being taken out by someone that just isn't going to be patient with you. So there's no favoritisms or person that has a strong run, because the fastest trucks I don't think have won most of these races. It's just whoever can survive them, because there's just so much people just running into each other. I don't know what that was, that last run. That was a hectic everything. So yeah, if I get into the point to where I'll go for a championship, fantastic. If not, I'm just going to keep pissing people off by winning the race. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, and as we were saying, no matter where you start, it seems like you're always in contention, at least for a win by the end of it, and able to get winner to be the winner of heat number 1. So again, congratulations to that, and also taking over the points lead. But with that, Kenneth, do you have anything for Gerald?
Well, Jared, I mean, it was that final run. This becomes a run of consistency, and now this is the end of the regular season after the checkered flag has waved in both races, and you should be in comfortable place to be the first driver leading the playoff standings going into Phoenix next week. What's going to be that mindset there now that you've had a chance to win a couple races in the regular season, you've gotten that points gap, and now you'll be able to fight for the playoffs now, and it's all about running for a title, not just running for wins?
Still got to go out and run for wins if you're going to win something. You can run the consistency route and everything. So, if you run up front, you'll get the championships. That's how it goes. In this league, it's definitely all about being lucky, more than good. Dodging most of those wrecks. I think a lot of the great finishes I had. I don't know if you saw that one wreck on the first race. Barely missed the 2 cars spinning in front of me and almost hitting the outside wall. That would have right there just ripped my chances away of winning that race. So it's all about surviving, because all these cautions group each other up. There's no getting away from each other. It's just lucky that the people that I know that have it have it out for me right now, all run the same paint scheme, so I know which ones to watch out for, I guess. So, yeah, like I said, it's going to be fun, a lot of drama. It all plays out. You guys get to be the lucky ones to watch it.
Yes, indeed, and we'll be happy to call the drama right here on KBRN. But with that, Gerald, any shout-outs you want to give?
Nobody. That's how I feel tonight. So, shout out to the next race, I guess.
All right, sounds good. Well, best of luck to you into the playoffs. Might have a little bit of a target on your back, but it'll be fun to watch and see how you prevail through it.
Appreciate it, guys. If I get to talk to you again, we'll have fun again.
All right, sounds good. That was Gerald Campbell, winner of heat number 1, and maybe gonna be having some fun here with a certain team here. So we'll see how that plays out here in the near future. But next interview we're gonna bring in the driver that finished 3rd place in both heats here tonight. So a solid run for him tonight. It's that 75 truck of Dylan Gooden. And Dylan, not able to get a win here tonight, but a strong night in both heats, finishing 3rd. How did the truck feel out there tonight?
The truck was pretty good. I was more of a long run truck. I don't have the mentality to really run hard in these short stint races normally, and that's essentially what this league is. So it was fun. That first race, we just kind of avoided that mess, and we were the first car on fresh tires after it. And I was like, well, if I can get a good run off the high side, I could get to the line. But we just missed it. And that second one, it was just the same thing, just avoiding stuff, at the very end.
Yeah, and that's key. And you were able to work yourself up after finishing 3rd in the first heat, started 11th. Worked your way back up into 3rd, and talking to our last driver, Gerald Campbell, and there might be some drama between some of these drivers after the race, and it appears kind of the way you were running here tonight, you were able to avoid a lot of the drama, keep your nose clean, and have 2 solid runs here tonight.
Yeah, there seemed to be a lot of angry drivers tonight. I did a good job. I kept my nose clean for the most part. I think I didn't really have any run-ins with anybody, and I mean, I like to race the way I'd want to be raced. I don't really do a lot of blocking. Maybe the extent of it is kind of protecting my line and the outside of one. But I mean, I just try to run clean, keep my nose clean. And if I do that, I know I'll be there at the end. And I really showed that these 2 races tonight.
Yeah, again, awesome. Sweeping 3rd place here in both heats. Awesome job here for you, Dylan. With that, Kenneth, got anything here for Gooden?
Well, I mean, this comes at consistency in just a handful of races that you've made in this series, and that 75 has been slowly putting it up through the grid. Is this a sign of better things to come for the final 3 races of the season?
Oh, I think so. If as long as I run these next 3, which I should, I hope to put a full effort together next year. But I think this is my 4th race, the 2 weeks I've done, and we finished I don't remember the first race, and then 2nd, 3rd, 3rd. So it feels good to be competitive. It feels good to run well. I really like the trucks, and it's fun. I have a good time, and I just try to keep my nose clean and earn these guys' respect. And I think we can get a win here soon if we just keep doing that.
Yeah, especially if you keep your nose clean and avoid some of the mayhem. I think that will definitely pay off at the end of the day if you make more friends than you do enemies. But with that too, Dylan, any shout-outs you want to give out here tonight?
Shout out to castlemotors.com, my sponsor, your friend in the car business, my girlfriend Daddy, and my team owner Landon Castle.
Sounds good. Awesome. Again, awesome run here tonight. What do you think your final thoughts? What do you think your shots at going into Phoenix if you do show up here next week?
Pretty good. I've won a league race or 2 there before, but it's tough. I like the old layout of Phoenix a lot better than the new one. So we'll see, but hopefully we can put on a good show for you.
All right, sounds good, Dylan. Again, good run here tonight, and good luck next week, and great run.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's Dylan Gooden finishing 3rd in both heats here tonight. But next up, we'll bring up Stormy Patterson finishing 2nd spot in heat number 2. Awesome run for him tonight after starting on the pole. So we'll get him up in here. And Stormy, or Storm. Stormy is your name, so I'll call you that. We're buddies now.
Yes, sir.
Finishing 13th in heat number 1. It looked like all you really needed was track position to be really competitive, because making that strong run, able to stay up front and come back and almost contend for the win. Do you think you had anything to make one final charge for that lead?
I think 5 laps would have been nice. I think we if we didn't get caught up behind Dylan there, I think we could have given Blaze more of a run. As we were coming on that last lap, if we would have just had 1 or 2 more laps, we could have probably got to his outside or inside and tried something. Honestly, though, I probably should have cleared him whenever I did clear him after I went from like 8th to 1st on that first lap of that restart, which I still don't know how I did. But I probably should have done that, and I probably would have had a better chance at winning. But yeah, Blaze was fast all night. I was really not in contention at all during that first heat. We were just stuck in the back and just weren't good enough, and then somehow we got 13th because Glenn got a black flag or something, and we I got to the lead, and I burnt myself up those first 10 laps battling with Blaze, and then went back to like 15th because I had a bad pit stop, and then drove up through the field, and I mean it was fun, that's for sure.
Yeah, came out of nowhere on that final restart, able to get second spot. But again, talking to some of the other drivers, sounded like a lot of drama out on the racetrack. I assume that you kind of kept your nose clean from a lot of that.
Well, this is my first race in this league, so I mean, it's one way to introduce myself to the league, but yeah, I mean, we kept our nose clean. I mean, I don't like to rough people up in general, so. I mean, but I mean, hell, it sounded like a voice shot. That was pretty rough. So I don't know.
Well, hopefully, you made more friends than enemies out there tonight. But Kenneth, do you have anything for Storm?
Well, you said it there. Your first race in this series, it comes at second place in this second race. But now that you've got this first race under your belt, now that you've kind of acknowledge at least how the drivers around you are and how the competition is. What kind of things can you take away here now that you're going to move forward and probably the final 3 races of the season, and hopefully that you show up?
Well, I have to look at the schedule first, but yeah, I mean, I came in here with no practice, kind of joined last second, and just drove the wheels off her, I guess, and yeah, I mean, I'll hopefully come back next week and whatever track we're at and still be in contention and hopefully come up 1 spot closer.
Yeah, so that'd be pretty awesome, Storm. But before we send you off here tonight, any shout-outs you want to give?
Yeah, Snowman Studios, RDM, my teammate Riley, KBRN, Athens Screen Printing, ITRN, JC Graphics, Shane DiMontova Designs, all those guys that make this possible. Just glad to have the opportunities and be able to represent these guys on track.
That was awesome. Yeah, you represented them well here tonight, and welcome to the OSCA Truck Series, and we hope to see you back here next week at Phoenix.
Thank you. Oh, Phoenix? Oh, we're gonna be here then. Shit.
Sounds good. I think is that you calling your shot? You're gonna be up front for Battle for Win.
My shot. That's definitely me calling my shot.
All right, sounds good. Well, glad to have you here tonight, Storm, and hopefully we'll see you right here about this time next week, interviewing you after a win.
Yes, sir. Thank you. This was really fun.
Yep, you bet. That was Storm Patterson finishing second spot in heat number 2. But without further ado, we'll bring in winner of heat number 2. Looked like you had to speed Blaze to maybe get a sweep in both heats, and actually got taken out in both heats while you're battling for the lead. But in that second one, you're able to rally after going through the grass. Talk a little bit about that, from your venture from the front to the back and all the way up to the front and to getting the win.
Yeah, that was really fun. Didn't really want to go through the grass in both of them. That wasn't my plan, but I mean, hey, we got through it. We got through the first one. I mean, the first one, that was my fault. I cleared myself down the front stretch. That was my fault, but we just kind of got stuck back there after that spin and just tried to get what we could and try to start up front for the second one, and then got to the front in the second one, led most of the first half of the race. I mean, I feel like I had enough speed just to hang up there and win if we just came off pit road with the lead on the last one, which we did, and then got back out to the lead. And then I feel like that second one, I don't know if that was really my fault. I came down a little bit, and then I I feel like he might have turned a little bit to the right and hooked me, but I don't know. I'm not going to worry about it. Still had a good run. So this the last restart. I took 2 tires, so I was just kind of banking on getting some track position, and then I guess the left side's held on pretty well, and watched them all wreck in front of me, and kind of moved the 3 out of the way a little bit, got him a little loose, and then drove right through the middle and held him off. So I appreciate Storm battling me clean there at the end. That was really fun with him. So all in all, just really fun race. Hopefully we can come back here and win next week if I can make the race next week. But it was a lot of fun. Glad we got the win in the second one.
Yeah, again, congratulations on that win in heat number 2. But as you said, you had to maybe push the 3 truck a little out of the way, and from the consensus we had from the interviews we had previously here tonight, a lot of drama going on here tonight. So I'm assuming you might be in a little bit of the mix of that here.
Yeah, I mean, nobody really. I mean, the 3 never even talked to me about it, so I'm guessing he was all right with it. I don't feel like I was too aggressive with it. I mean, he was already about to lose it. He was really loose as it was, and I just wasn't lifting there on that last restart. So I just went in there and just gave him a little tap, and got him a little bit loose, and drove right around him. So yeah, hopefully he didn't take that personally. I wasn't trying to wreck him or nothing, but yeah, that's pretty much all that happened there.
All right, fair enough. Kenneth, got anything for Blaze?
Well, I mean, I remember watching your first race in this series at Gateway, the short track, seeing how close you were to a win, and now you're finally able to get it here in Las Vegas. Fittingly enough, in a Kyle Busch paint scheme, nonetheless, on the truck. But and then now that you have this win, you've ran a couple races. What's going to be now for you that momentous run that could probably build in the last 3 races of the season for you to catch more wins here?
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, I'm not in the running for the points, so hopefully we can just come out here and race for wins and just have good finishes. And obviously try not to get in the way of the playoff guys. That's not what I want to do, but hopefully we can still have some good runs, get some more wins, and end off the season on a high note.
Yeah, it'll be key to see if you can do that. But we just had Storm in here calling his shot at Phoenix. He's pretty excited. What do you think about your chances going next week and going down to the desert?
Yeah, personally, I've always liked Phoenix. As of late, I haven't really been that good. I've kind of fallen off there. I used to be really fast there, but as like the tires been updated and like the different setups and everything's been updated, I've kind of lost my touch there. But I feel like with the trucks, it'll be pretty fun. There's a lot of grip there with the trucks. I mean, the setup's usually pretty fun to work with. So we'll see how that goes. Nothing like some good short track racing. So we'll see what happens there.
All right, we'll be looking forward to it. But before we send you off and let you go celebrate, any shout outs you want to give?
Yeah, Flying Arrows, Grace and everybody over there for having me on the team. Rowdy Energy on the truck tonight. Crystal Designs, Bungeon Lawn Care, and I believe that's it.
All right, sounds good. Well, again, congratulations, Blaze, and we'll see you next week at Phoenix.
All righty, thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you. Again, that was Blaze McKinney, winner of heat number 2, here tonight for the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation 120, and wow, again, both heats, I think, had a lot of drama packed into them. A lot of excitement for sure, Kenneth. And I think Sin City here tonight did not disappoint whatsoever.
Yeah, it certainly did not. It has been a fantastic race here from Las Vegas. And just the great racing that we had. I said at the top of the broadcast, it was going to be like Kansas, where we're going to have a lot of the pack racing, especially on the lights with the grip elevated just a little bit. And it really showed no disappointment whatsoever in terms of the racing. There was a lot of contact, a lot of things that happened nonetheless, but it was a lot of fun, and now things will completely change in terms of the complexion when we head to Phoenix next week when we actually kick off a run for the title.
Yeah, next week at Phoenix will be the race that kicks off the playoffs, and they'll be right here on KBRN. They'll be next Thursday, April 15th at 8:55. Be sure to tune in as you see the rounding out schedules at Phoenix, Texas, and Kentucky. So we'll see how that heats up as we go down to Phoenix. And it sounds like a lot of drama maybe heading into next week as well. So we'll be sure to check out that. But for more on KBRN this Friday, April 9th at 7:25 p.m. Eastern Time, you can tune in right here for the CRL Cup Series. It'll be race number 8 as the boys head to Charlotte. So be sure to tune in for that right here on KBRN. But with that, for Vic Bloom and Dallas Myhand at the OSCA Truck Series, and for Charlie Baier at KBRN, And for my colleague up here in the booth, Kenneth Bueno, I'm Mike Goodman. Thank you all for watching tonight's broadcast right here from Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And we look forward to seeing you next Thursday night from Phoenix Raceway. Good night now.